Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my Endless Diary Tales channel? Thank you so much. Evie, we left for Hawaii this morning. The kids are all set, so just follow the schedule, okay? Love you. Mom's text popped up on my screen as I stepped out of my apartment. Coffee in one hand, car keys in the other. For a second, I thought it was a joke. A cruel, twisted joke. But then came the second message. Oh, and don't bother calling. We'll be out of service most of the week. You're the responsible one after all. I stared at my phone, my breath hitching. The realization hit me like ice water down my spine. They actually did it. They packed their bags, boarded a plane, left the country, and they dumped 3 kids on me without my consent. In the distance, Christmas lights twinkled in my neighbor's windows. Warm and festive. But in my hands, my phone screen glowed with betrayal. They think I'll take it. That I'll bend like I always do. They have no idea what's coming. My name is Ivy Parker, and at 30, I just received the most ruthless betrayal from the very people who were supposed to love me unconditionally. But while my parents are probably sipping cocktails in Hawaii, laughing at how easily they tricked me into becoming that unpaid babysitter once again, I'm not panicking. I'm not crying. They think I'm helpless. They think I'll roll over and accept this like I always have. But this time they underestimated me. I gripped the note in my hands, my fingers trembling. Not from fear, not from sadness. From pure, unfiltered rage. They really did it. They actually did it. 4 years, I've been the family's convenient little doormat. The reliable, self-sacrificing daughter. The built-in babysitter. The one who always had to say yes because family comes first. But this was a new low. I glance around the empty house, its Christmas decorations glowing warmly. A cruel contrast to the cold betrayal settling in my chest. The stockings are hung, the trees twinkling. The air still carries the faint scent of cinnamon and pine. But there's no family here. No laughter, no holiday joy. Just me and 3 kids who have no idea they've just been abandoned by the people who are supposed to love them the most. Nicole, 11 years old, responsible beyond her years, but still a child who shouldn't have to play caretaker. Chris, 8 years old, just wants someone to pay attention to him. Alex, 4, innocent and sweet, still believing the world is fair. They deserve better than this. We all do. A sharp knock on the door shakes me from my thoughts. Nicole peeks out from the hallway. Her face lighting up when she sees me on Ivy. You made it. I force a smile, shoving the note into my pocket. Of course, kiddo wouldn't miss Christmas morning with you guys. She beams, running to hug me, and for a brief moment I soften. None of this is their fault. Chris and Alex come tumbling in next, their excited voices filling the house. Did you bring presents? Do we get hot chocolate? Can we watch movies all day? I nod, setting down the gifts I had painstakingly chosen for them. You bet. But first, let's get settled. Okay. They scurry off to unwrap their presents, completely oblivious to the war raging inside me. I should have seen this coming. The missed calls, the vague responses, the way my mother's voice had that telltale syrupy sweet tone when she called me last week. Evie, sweetheart, we have a little change of plans for Christmas. It's just 1 week, honey, and you're so good with the kids. You don't have plans anyway, right? And when I firmly said no, when I made it crystal clear that I had no intention of playing the unpaid nanny again. Oh, but the tickets are already booked, and they're non-refundable. You wouldn't ruin Christmas for everyone, would you? I should have hung up right then, but some sick, twisted part of me still held on to hope. Hope that just this once my family would respect me. I was an idiot. They never intended to give me a choice. And now they're thousands of miles away celebrating their well-deserved vacation, while I'm standing here picking up the pieces of a mess they created. I exhale slowly, my pulse hammering in my ears. They think they won. They think I'll do what I always do. Swallow my anger, take care of everything, and suffer in silence while they pretend they did nothing wrong. They're so goddamn confident in their manipulation, in their ability to control me. But they made one fatal mistake. They underestimated just how done I am. I pull out my phone and dial 1, ring 2. Then my mother's voice, sickeningly cheerful. Oh, Ivy. Merry Christmas, sweetheart. How are the kids? My grip tightens around the phone. I glance at the children, innocent, undeserving of any of this, and I make a decision. This ends today. They think I'll take it, that I'll sigh, maybe get a little mad, and then settle into the role they've carved out for me like I always do. Like the good daughter, the responsible one, the family's built-in babysitter. But what they don't know, what they never saw coming, is that I've been preparing for this moment for a long time. Because this time I'm not playing along. I stare at my phone, the blue light reflecting off the kitchen counter. My hands are steady, but my breath is tight in my chest. Slow and deliberate. I should have known. I did know. Every single red flag was there. The last-minute vagueness, the fake concern, the way my mother's voice was just a little too sweet when she asked about my holiday plans. You don't have anything big planned, do you, sweetheart? It's just one little favor. I close my eyes. The memories feel like acid burning through my brain. They never planned to give me a choice. 3 weeks ago, I sat in my apartment, my phone buzzing on the coffee table. Mom again. I let it ring. I already knew what she wanted. It was the same thing they always wanted. For me to rearrange my life to make theirs easier. I took a sip of my wine, leaned back against my couch, and opened my laptop. The emails were still there. Every flight confirmation, every vacation rental booked months ago before they ever asked me, before they even bothered pretending my answer mattered. That's when I knew it wasn't just about this Christmas. It was never just about Christmas. They had been doing this for years, expecting me to sacrifice, assuming I'd always say yes, manipulating me into thinking it was my duty. But this time I was ready. I clicked open another top one I had saved for exactly this moment. A family lawyer, because if they thought they could trap me in their mess, if they thought they could walk all over me and get away with it, they were about to learn just how wrong they were. Back to now. My phone is still in my hand. My mother's text sitting there like a bomb waiting to go off. I don't respond. Instead, I start executing my plan. Call the lawyer. I press the number I saved weeks ago. The phone barely rings before a crisp, professional voice answers. Vanessa Gale's office. How can I help you? It's Ivy Parker. We spoke last month about a possible family case. Well, it's happening. A brief pause, then her voice sharpens. Understood. What's the situation? Parental neglect. 3 minors left unattended. Intentional deception to force unpaid caregiving. And I have proof. I hear the clicking of a keyboard on the other end. Then Ivy, this could be serious. If you're ready to proceed, we can notify child services. Do it. Gather the evidence. I move through the house, scanning every inch. The fridge is fully stocked because, of course it is. They didn't want the kids to starve. They just didn't want to deal with them. On the kitchen counter, a printed schedule is neatly taped down. Alex nap at 1 p.m. Nicole reading time. Chris tablet break. Tuesday. Breakfast. Eggs and toast. Lunch PB&J dinner. Spaghetti. Wednesday. If any issues, call on Ivy. I snort coolant Ivy as if I'm just another appliance they can switch on when needed. I grab my phone and start taking photos. The schedule, the fridge, the note, the empty driveway, all of it. Because when my parents get back, when they try to spin their lies, when they act like this was all a misunderstanding, I'll have every goddamn receipt. Make them panic. I glance at the kids, still blissfully unaware, tearing through wrapping paper and giggling over their gifts. My stomach twists. They don't deserve this. But my parents, they deserve everything that's coming. I step outside onto the porch, the cold December air biting at my skin as I finally dial the number. It rings twice before my mother answers. Ivy. Merry Christmas, sweetheart. How are the kids? She sounds so cheerful, so fake, like she hasn't just abandoned 3 children. Mom, I say, my voice cold. You have exactly 1 hour to explain why you thought it was okay to leave your grandchildren without a legal guardian. Then the first sign of panic. Ivy, what are you talking about? We just thought. No, you didn't think at all. You just assumed I'd take it. Well, surprise, I won't. Child Protective Services will be here in 2 hours. If you're not on a flight back by then, this becomes a legal matter. Her breath hitches. Ivy. Ivy. Dramatic. We're not a game. You tricked me. You abandoned 3 kids, and now you're going to deal with the consequences. I hang up before she can say another word. Let her sit with it. Let her feel what it's like to be out of control. I take a deep breath, studying myself. My heart is racing. But for the first time in years, it's not from anxiety. It's from power. I spent so long believing I was stuck, believing that family meant endless sacrifice. But not anymore. This time, I'm the one calling the shots. My phone rings. Not even 10 minutes after I hung up on my mother, And she's already calling me back. Desperation. It drips through the phone like honey laced with poison. I let it ring once, twice. Then I pick up slowly, deliberately. "Ivy, sweetheart," she coos, her voice the same syrupy tone she's always used when she's trying to manipulate me. "Let's not overreact, okay?" I stare at the night sky outside, my grip tightening around my phone. The audacity, the sheer blinding audacity. "You abandoned 3 kids." My voice is flat to cold. Tell me, what part of this is an overreaction? Mom? Oh, stop being so dramatic. They're fine. We left food. We left instructions. And you love them, don't you? So what's the big deal? The big deal. I exhale slowly, forcing myself to stay calm. But deep inside I feel it bubbling. The years of frustration, the years of being treated like I existed solely for their convenience. The big deal, Mom, I say measured and steady, is that you planned this entire thing behind my back. You bought your tickets months ago. You never even considered asking me. You just assumed I'd do it. You tricked me. You lied to me. She clicks her tongue like I'm being difficult. Oh, Ivy, come on. Don't act like you were going to do anything important this week anyway. You don't have a husband. You don't have kids. And work is slow this time of year, right? A bitter laugh escapes me before I can stop it. There it is. The same condescending tone, the same dismissive attitude, the same. Ivy doesn't have a real life, so she might as well be our servant mindset. I knew they'd do this. I knew it, and yet it still stings. So let me get this straight. I say, my voice razor sharp, because I don't have a family of my own. You think my time isn't valuable, that my life is just a placeholder for yours? Oh, don't be so dramatic. She snaps, irritation creeping into her voice. We're family. We help each other. Help each other, as if that's what this is. As if this has ever been a mutual thing. When exactly has this help ever gone both ways, Mom? I ask, voice dangerously quiet. Because from where I'm standing it looks a whole lot like you using me as free childcare whenever it's convenient for you. Oh, Ivy, please. She sighs, exasperated. Now it's Christmas. You're really going to ruin the holiday over this? I let that sink in for a moment. I close my eyes, forcing myself to process what she just said. She thinks I'm ruining Christmas. Not her, not my father, not my aunt or uncle who all went along with this. Me. Because I dared to say no. Because I dared to push back. Because for the first time in my life I refused to be their doormat. And they hate it. You know what, Mom? I say, suddenly feeling lighter than I have in years. You're right. I don't have a husband. I don't have kids. And that means I have nothing to tie me down. Nothing stopping me from walking out that door right now. Silence. Then a sharp intake of breath. Ivy, don't you dare. No, really. I cut her off. Why should I stay? The kids aren't my responsibility. You didn't ask me to take care of them. You forced me to. You manipulated me into coming here under false pretenses. And now you're upset because I won't play along. Ivy, please think about the children. Oh, now you care about them. I laugh, but there's no humor in it because correct me if I'm wrong. But you abandoned them, didn't you? You left them without a guardian. You lied about where you were going. You dumped them on me like they were some afterthought. Pause and then we'll be back in a week. Can you just... No. Silence. Something shifts in her tone. The mask slips. Ivy, stop being selfish. There it is. The real her. You always do this. She hisses, voice sharper now. You always act like we're the bad guys when all we're asking for is a little help. We have done so much for you, Ivy. You wouldn't even have that stupid apartment if it weren't for us. I laugh, shaking my head. Right. Because letting me live at home rent-free for a few years means I owe you a lifetime of servitude, right? You are so ungrateful. Ungrateful? Of course. Of course. That's her response. Because to her, love is transactional. Because in her mind, anything she's ever given me automatically erases everything she's taken. And she still thinks I'll cave. She still thinks I'll fold the way I always have. But not this time. You have 1 hour to figure out a way back home. I say, my voice like steel. Or my next call is to Child Protective Services. She gasps like I just slapped her. You wouldn't try me. And then I hang up. For a second I just stand there. Phone still in my hand, my heart pounding in my chest. Then I take a deep breath, turn on my heels and walk back inside. The kids are still playing, still laughing, still blissfully unaware that the people who are supposed to love them the most just left them like an afterthought. And me, for the first time in my life, I don't feel powerless. They thought I would break. They thought I would bend, but they were wrong. Because this time I'm the one in control. The silence after I hung up is suffocating. Not from guilt, not from second-guessing, but from the weight of years. Years of being the good daughter, the responsible one, the one they could count on to clean up their messes. Not this time. I glance at the kids still lost in their world of Christmas morning excitement. They don't know what's coming. They don't know that in just a few hours, everything is about to implode. Because I'm done playing nice. Make them sweat. My mother thinks she's untouchable. That she can manipulate her way out of anything. She has no idea. I'm 3 steps ahead. I pull out my phone and dial Vanessa Gale, my lawyer. She picks up on the first ring. Ivy, she says smoothly. I assume they didn't take the ultimatum well. I smirk. They called me ungrateful, said I was ruining Christmas. Then tried to guilt-trip me into backing down. Vanessa clicks her tongue. Predictable. Exactly. Which is why we're moving to phase 2. I sent her the photos I took earlier. The note they left, the kids' schedule, the empty driveway, and a screenshot of my mother's texts blatantly admitting they left the kids in my care without consent. Vanessa lets out a low whistle. Oh, this is gold. Legally speaking, this is negligence, possibly even child abandonment. I know you want me to pull the trigger. I can't do anything at the kids again. They don't deserve this. They deserve better. Do it. Within minutes, Vanessa is on the phone with Child Protective Services and the local authorities. By the time my parents land back in the country, there will be an investigation waiting for them. Public exposure. My mother thrives on appearances. She spent years curating the image of a perfect, devoted mother, a pillar of the community, a charity organizer, a model citizen. She won't survive public humiliation. I take a deep breath, open Facebook and start typing. Merry Christmas, everyone. I wasn't planning to post today, but I feel like I need to clear something up. You may have seen my mother's posts about their family vacation in Hawaii. What she didn't mention is that they left 3 children behind, alone, without a legal guardian, without even asking if I'd take care of them. They lied to me. They manipulated me into showing up under false pretenses. Then they boarded a plane and left. I've spent years sacrificing for this family. I've spent years being the responsible one, the one who was expected to put her life on hold whenever it was convenient for them. But I'm done. So if you see my mother's posts, if you see her playing the devoted parent card, just know the truth. Because family isn't about using people and love isn't about control. I hit post. Within minutes, the comments explode. Wait, they left the kids like just dumped them? I always knew your mom was a snake, but this is another level. Ivy, you are not in the wrong. They did this to themselves, and then the real kicker. A comment from my grandmother, Debbie James. I am beyond disappointed. This is not how we raised you. You need to get home now. Boom. The dominoes start falling. Cut them off at the knees. The phone rings again. This time it's my father. I let it go to voicemail. Then another call, then another. I smirk. They're panicking. Good. When the 4th call comes through, I pick up, but I don't say a word. There's heavy breathing on the other end. Then finally his voice. Ivy, what the hell did you do? I told the truth. I say casually. You should try it sometime. Do you have any idea what you've done to this family? He hisses. Your mother is crying. The entire town is talking about us. Do you even understand how embarrassing this is? I laugh, actually laugh. Embarrassing. I repeat. You think this is about embarrassment? You abandoned 3 kids. You lied to me. You tried to trap me into cleaning up your mess. And now you're mad because people found out. Boo. Fucking who? You don't understand, Evie. We had no choice. No, you had a choice. You just didn't want to deal with the consequence. Silence. Then the threats start. If you don't take that post down, you can forget ever being part of this family again. Oh no. I deadpan, how will I ever recover, Evie? No, you listen, I snap. You made your bed. Now lie in it. Is already involved. You're under investigation. You want to act like this is my fault? Fine. But I'm done cleaning up your messes. You are officially on your own. I hang up. And just like that, I'm free. The final blow. By midnight, my parents are back on U.S. soil. The moment they land, CPS is waiting for them. They are questioned at the airport. They are confronted with the evidence. They're slapped with legal repercussions. They won't go to jail. Not yet, but they will be under investigation. They will have to explain themselves. Their reputation destroyed, their power over me gone. And me. I spend the rest of the night curled up on the couch with the kids, watching Christmas movies, eating cookies, and for the first time in my life, feeling at peace. I glance at my phone one last time before turning it off. Final text from my mother. You'll regret this. I smile.
No, Mom.
You will. The fallout is immediate. By the time the sun rises the next morning, my parents' world has already started to crumble. The town is talking. Social media is on fire. Has officially launched an investigation. Their so-called perfect life, the one they clung to so desperately, built on manipulation and carefully curated lies, is unraveling.
ZBZ.
I sip my coffee watching the chaos unfold from my phone screen. My mother has gone silent online. No more picture-perfect holiday posts. No more humble brag captions about being the heart of the community. Instead, her latest post is flooded with comments. You seriously just abandon your grandkids? Wow. And here I thought you were a good mother. Evie, if you need anything, we got you. What your family did is disgusting. I scroll, amused as the reality of her actions finally starts sinking in for her. Because for once she doesn't control the narrative, I do. The phone rings again. I let it go to voicemail. My father, my aunt, my uncle. Every last one of them scrambling to do damage control, to spin the story, to make themselves the victims in a mess they created. But it's too late. For the first time in my life, I don't care. I don't care about their excuses. I don't care about their pathetic pleas. I don't care that my mother is probably pacing around the house panicked because, oh no, people finally see her for who she really is. Let them squirm. The kids wake up groggy. The Christmas excitement finally giving way to exhaustion. Nicole rubs her eyes as she shuffles into the kitchen with Ivy. Are they coming back? I pause, setting my coffee down. They will. I say, keeping my voice even. But not right away. She nods. But there's something in her face. Something that tells me she knows the truth. She's old enough to understand what happened. Old enough to know that this wasn't just a mistake. This was abandonment. Chris and Alex come in next, still in their pajamas. And for a moment it's quiet, peaceful, like a real family. Because that's what we are now, aren't we? Not the one I was born into, but the one that I chose. The phone buzzes again. Another voicemail. I press play, already knowing what's coming. My mother's voice is hoarse, strained, like she's been crying all night. I don't know what you're trying to prove, but you've taken this too far. We're coming home today. Just don't do anything drastic, okay? Drastic? I almost laugh. Drastic is ditching your grandkids to go sip cocktails on a beach. Drastic is manipulating me into fixing your messes for years. Drastic is expecting me to just take it over and over without ever fighting back. What I've done. That's justice. The doorbell rings, my heart pounds, but I don't hesitate. I open the door to find two agents standing there. Professional but firm. Miss Parker. That's me. We received your report. We need to talk. I step aside, letting them in. And just like that, the final nail is hammered into my parents' coffin. By the time my parents walk through the front door later that afternoon, CPS has already been here for hours. They've taken statements from the kids, gathered evidence, and started the official process of documenting neglect. And my parents, they look wrecked. My mother's face is pale, her eyes red-rimmed. My father looks like he hasn't slept. My aunt and uncle linger awkwardly in the doorway, their usual smugness completely gone. Good. They look at me like they don't recognize me anymore, like I've become some kind of stranger to them. But the truth is, they never really knew me at all. Ivy, my mother starts, her voice trembling. We need to talk. No, Mom, I say, crossing my arms. You need to listen. She blinks, startled. My father shifts uncomfortably beside her, like he's debating whether or not to explode. They're used to me being quiet. They're used to me giving in. Not today. Do you have any idea what you've done to this family? My father snaps, voice tight with barely restrained anger. Do you understand the damage you've caused? The damage I've caused? I let out a slow, deliberate breath. No, Dad, I say, voice calm. Do you? Silence. I let the weight of it hang between us before continuing. Let me spell it out for you. CPS is involved now. They have everything. Your texts, your itinerary, the fact that you planned this trip months ago and didn't bother telling me. They have photos, statements, records. You can't spin this. You can't erase it. My mother presses a shaking hand to her temple. We didn't think. No, I cut her off. You didn't. She flinches, and for once I don't feel guilty. So here's how this is going to go, I continue. You're going to cooperate with CPS. You're going to take whatever consequences come your way. And you're not going to blame me for any of it because this is your mess and I'm done cleaning up after you. My father exhales sharply, shaking his head. Ivy, you're being irrational. We're family. We can fix this together. Oh, we're family now? I tilt my head. Funny, because I don't remember family leaving me with 3 kids under false pretenses so they could go get drunk in another country. My mother's lip trembles. Ivy, please, you have to understand. I understand perfectly, I say, voice steady. I understand that for years you've used me. I understand that you never saw me as a person, just as an extension of yourself. I understand that every time I sacrificed, it was never enough. And I understand that you will never change. Which is why I'm done. Tears slip down her cheeks. My father's jaw is tight. Furious. My aunt and uncle look like they want to disappear into the floor. Good. You don't mean that, my mother whispers. I smile, but there's no warmth in it. Yes, Mom, I do. Then I turn, walking past them, heading for the front door. Where are you going? My father demands. I don't stop. 3 months later, my parents are still untangling the legal consequences of what they did. Their reputations are permanently stained. My aunt and uncle lost customers at the store, forced to downsize my parents. They're barely keeping it together. And me? I moved, I started over. I kept my distance. And I never looked back. One night my phone buzzes. A text from Nicole. I miss you. Can we visit? I smile always because family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up. It's about who loves you without conditions. And for the first time in my life, I finally have that.